Test 1, 2, test. Test 1, 2, test. Okay, here we go. March 23rd, 2020. Some good news for ya. Episode 2. Here's some good news for ya. Yes, welcome back to Some Good News for Ya, the show where every day I try to share some good news through these crazy times. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to watch my last video where I kind of introduced what this idea is all about. I'm no longer the new travel. I'm now the new quarantine, as one person put it. But this is my life. I'm in my house just like everyone else, and I want to use this chance to share some good news. And today's good news comes from Wuhan, China. You guys remember Wuhan? It was the epicenter of the outbreak in China where all this stuff started. Everyone was talking about Wuhan like a month ago, but now it's like Wuhan, we have our own problems. We gotta focus on other things now. But this is a good news story I found from Wuhan. It's the story of a woman named I'm so bad at this. Wuhan Jing. And Wuhan Jing comes from Wuhan. She is 98 years old. And she was the oldest person to ever become diagnosed with coronavirus. And guess what? Who recovered? That wasn't like a play on words. Who recovered? Her name is Who recovered? And just check this out.
A 98-year-old woman who was critically ill with the new coronavirus has been discharged from hospital in Wuhan. She was the oldest person in China to be diagnosed with the illness.
What a hero. Seriously, Hu Hanjing, what a hero. And this leads into the other thing I wanted to talk about today, which is one little piece of advice or one little piece of wisdom that I've picked up as we go through all this coronavirus craziness. But before I get into that, I want to mention that at the end of every At the end of every episode, I'm going to have a meme. Because one of my favorite things about this whole coronavirus is that the memes are pretty hilarious. I mean, not all of them. Some of them are inappropriate, but there have been a lot of funny memes coming out. So at the end of every episode, I'm going to try to put a little meme just to keep it light. But before the end, I want to say this, and it's that every single case has a person behind it. And I know as these numbers continue to rise in your country and my country and every country, we get into this state of mind where it's like, okay, today we had 125 cases. Yesterday we had 150 cases. That's good. But of course, these are still people. It's not good to those 125 people and their families and their friends. I mean, there are a lot of stories. There are a lot of very sad stories with the people who are being diagnosed and suffering and in some cases passing away. But there are also a lot of stories of resilience and a lot of stories of overcoming what's happening. And if you check the numbers right now, there are over 100,000 people who have now recovered from coronavirus. And these are just the ones who have been diagnosed. I'm sure there are other people who have not had very serious cases and just stayed home and kind of handled it on their own. But of the people who were serious enough that they got tested and they're in the system, they're listed as having coronavirus, over 100,000 people have now made full recoveries. And I think that's something incredible that we can't lose sight of. I also think it's incredible that our friend Hu Hanjing is one of them at 98 years old. So that's my good news for today. And I'll see you guys very soon with more good news. Oh yeah, don't forget, if you have your own stories, either from the city where you live or just some cool news story you found, you can always send me an email or you can message me on Twitter or Instagram, because I'm just a guy with too much time on my hands who has access to the internet. And so do you. So maybe we can do this together. Anyway, guys, don't forget there's a meme coming at the end. It's going to be a good one. And yeah, I'll see you next time for another episode of here's some good news for ya.